Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on Gala games. So it's 3 hours until our next FOMC meeting. Let's talk about what to expect for Gala pre-FOMC. So there's one chart I want to talk about that's playing out in all of the markets before we dive into something Gala specific. You can see at this moment in time, Bitcoin is forming a rising wedge, which is typically a bearish pattern. I've just made a few altcoin videos and I'm seeing this play out on pretty much all different altcoins. Most of the altcoins have already broken to the downside of this, of course. Bitcoin has been showing some major strength against the altcoin market recently. You can see Gala is getting obliterated against Bitcoin. But over here on Gala on the 4-hour time frame, I will just quickly let you know the price target of this. You can potentially see Gala games breaking down to around about 3.8 cent. Really not a big move from where we're recording, only about a 12 or 13% move. So just wanted to let you know the rising wedge has broken down to the downside and Gala is looking like it wants to come down at this moment in time. Now, if we dive into the higher time frames and then start working our way down, we've been focusing on this chart on the channel quite a lot recently. We quite recently talked about this bull flag. We came right down to the 618 Fibonacci and we have had a bounce since then. Now, since we have had this bounce, there are some key levels that you might want to keep your eyes on for this because, as you can see from this most recent macro swing high down to the swing low, we have a 618 Fibonacci right here at 5 cent, and we have been rejected from this pretty hard, and we are moving down from 5 cent pretty aggressively. In fact, since we topped out at 5 cent, Gala Games has broken down almost 16% so far. Now, this rejection from the 618 Fibonacci is, like I said, a rejection from the 618 Fibonacci. If we come over to this chart, so still looking at the same volume profiles over here, you can see 5 cent right here was a major volume profile. There was tons of liquidity that market makers were able to provide in this range. And what happened when we broke back down? We grabbed some of that trapped liquidity. And now it's not looking too good as we've been rejected from the 618, from this major pocket of liquidity. Just ignore the this rising wedge over here. We have just talked about this one, so we will now remove this. You can see as well over on this chart, which we've been talking about, previously we had range lows here that were violated. Then we had range lows over here, violated, flipped as resistance. We had a swing failure pattern above these, and now we've just confirmed these as resistance one more time. When we do come over, we'll talk about the swing failure pattern in just one second, but then also another 618 Fibonacci. We looked at a 618 Fibonacci in the macro time frame. In the lower time frames, from the most recent top up at 6.3 cent, swing high down to swing low, you can see we reverted right up to this orange box. This is the 618 Fibonacci. So round about this 5 cent level, there are so many overhead resistances round about this. This is liquidity profiles. This was also a range high. This was a volume profile. This was, multiple 618 Fibonacci's worth of data traded. These were previous range lows flipped as resistance. So Gala seems like it's going to be having a little bit of trouble getting over this 5 cent region. And coming into this FOMC meeting, in which I believe we're going to get 25 basis points, I don't think the markets are going to react too strongly to this. So if you're a bull, you really want to keep your eyes on 5 cent. If we don't manage to break above this, then it is not going to be looking too pretty for the markets. Now, on the daily time frame as well, you can definitely see that we are forming and have broken to the downside of a bear flag. If we pull out the price target of this, this is going to be a little bit more brutal than the 4-hour rising wedge that we were just talking about. This is actually going to take us all the way back down to the Binance listing at 2 cent approximately. At which point you can see that we will be coming back down to these range lows. Now, we talked about this on the channel. We had a range established up here. We had the listing price established down here. So this was your range high. This was your range low. We had a swing failure pattern. This was a failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. This was a range high. We had a swing failure pattern. This move was a failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. We went from 6.3 cent all the way down to 3 cent, over a 50% move, 53% in a very short space of time. Since this happened, we've formed multiple bearish patterns, retested multiple resistances up here at 5 cent, formed a bear flag, and broken to the downside of this. You can draw this a little bit different over on the 4-hour time frame, but it doesn't really give a case for the bulls any better. other than the fact that the price target would now just be at like 2.1 cents. So really, it depends on how you want to draw this, whether you want to look at the 4 hour or on the daily in terms of the candle bodies, but we have broken down to the downside of this. So what is the next move for Gala Games? Well, you know my price target's down here. I think 2.1 cent is a really good price target to keep your eyes on. If we're looking at the oscillators, oscillators are already moving quickly. Stochastic RSI's topped out quite recently at 101. It is super overextended with lots of room to move to the downside. MFI is still turning up at 62, indicative that volume conditions are super overextended with lots of room to move to the downside. The the squeeze momentum indicator has reset momentum into green. The last time this happened, you can see we created a rounding top before topping out right here. This was a rounding top formation up until 6.3 cent while we were resetting momentum in bullish territory. Then now we're resetting momentum again from a lower level. So things are not looking too hot on the oscillators, especially the daily stochastic is calling for a big meltdown very soon. Weekly time frame is not much better. You're on average around about 64 for the stock. You are at 73 for the MFI. Volume is so overextended. This means that there are so many people that can sell and dump the price action. And remember, because of Gala's hyperinflationary mechanics, it doesn't even require people to sell. If no one buys and everyone just sits on the sidelines, you will start to see this slowly bleed out anyway. So pair its inflation, hyperinflation, with people starting to sell into this event because MFI is super overextended. If people get fearful because of the 25 basis points, even hypothetically, let's say we get 50 basis points, I don't think that will happen, but something like this, 25 basis points or 50 basis points may melt liquidity out of this market. Weekly time frame, we have reset momentum. So all in all, oscillators are telling us we're getting ready for a big move down. This is why my first price target is down here at 2.1 cent. I'll let you know my higher time frame price targets once again in a second. If you're a veteran, you would have already known these, but what I do want to talk about quickly is the fact that Bitcoin is heavily outperforming pretty much all altcoins right now. So while Gala Games has formed this 4-hour rising wedge, which if you zoom out a little bit further, this was also the bear flag that we talked about, it broke down into a rising wedge, which is a bearish pattern. So it broke down and formed a bearish pattern. Bitcoin, on the other hand, broke up and formed this bearish pattern. So, what does this mean for Gala BTC? Well, Gala BTC is not looking too hot right now. The Bitcoin dominance is up. Bitcoin is annihilating altcoins right now. This is why I've really warned against DCAing altcoins in a bear market. A lot of people have said, who cares what the price is? You should DCA altcoins in a bear market. I guarantee anyone who says that has not been here for more than a few years or so. If you were not here in 2018, then you're probably going to be like, yeah, it's good to DCA altcoins. If you were here in 2018, you know that DCAing altcoins in a bear market is a horrible idea because, just look at how your altcoins perform against Bitcoin. Alts outperform Bitcoin in a bull run, and Bitcoin outperforms altcoins in a bear market. It's really that simple. If you're holding altcoins in a bear market, you're going to get wrecked against the US dollar, and you're going to get wrecked against Bitcoin. So if you really have to be in this market, if you have to DCA into something, DCA Bitcoin, because if you're holding something like Gala, it's much more risky than Bitcoin, and I'm not saying that you should never buy. At some point, I believe that risk to reward of buying Gala against Bitcoin is going to be worth it, but it will be worth it in a bull run. I don't believe it's going to be worth it in a bear market, and it's not even really what I believe. Just look at the charts. There's a very clear trend happening right now on Gala BTC. And it is telling us that we are going to come back down and make new lows. I think about another 38% drop is definitely in play for the Gala BTC pair. And this is why I really think coming back over to our Elliott wave theory, where we've been forming a lot of our price targets. We talked about this before, I believe in this chart over here. We've got a 1.618 Fibonacci all the way down at 1 cent. 1 cent correlates to a lot of listing prices, KuCoin, etc. Major exchanges listed Gala down here at 1 cent. 1 cent's a psychological level. No one's going to be saying I'm going to buy at 1.74825 cent. People are looking at round numbers. I'm going to sell at 5 cent. I'm going to sell at 10 cent. I'm going to buy at 1 cent. These are how traders think. So this 1 cent region is really a magnet zone. This is backed up by Fibonacci levels, listing prices, and many more things that we've been talking about on the channel. So really, this is what I've been talking about. I do believe that we are going to come down and fulfill this Elliott wave theory, which we have been discussing. We've been talking about this WXY double free structure. And as long as we don't break over 7.3 cent, then it's extremely likely, in my opinion, that we're going to continue with this ABC pattern all the way down to 1 cent. So that's really all I've got for you today, my friends. As always, if you do enjoy my content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, click the join button and become a member. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy, but I'll leave it here for you today. Good luck trading. If you are ahead of the FOMC, be very, very careful. I do believe it's very, very likely that we see a lot of whiplash coming into the FOMC today. So as always, my friends, it's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I am out. Peace.